here. Stoppage Time FC, round of 16 draw review and preview. And we're going to take a little look at where do the major leagues stand right now as we getting ready to hit the World Cup break. Man City Joe is here. Chelsea Blue Zach is here. This is Stoppage Time FC, the brand new Stoppage Time FC YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, your notifications on, because as we get ready to hit this World Cup, we're going to be here covering that. Fellas, how you all feeling? And what are some of your just initial takes on this Champions League draw?
I'm feeling pretty good. We had
I
a
bet you are.
little matchup today between old Zach and old Joe today in the Carabao Cup, which is one of the lesser
Most worthless events
competitions.
known to man.
And the Sky Blue side pulled out a 2-0 win. However, it was a very even match. I have to say Chelsea had 3 or 4 pretty clear chances that they put right into the goalie when they had a couple of wide open nets. I think the young kid Hall had a couple that he probably should have finished. Pulisic had a couple
Yeah.
that he should have buried, but
Don't do this because I'm gonna drag that boy.
yeah, I know you are. But we definitely upgraded in the backup keeper position with Stefan moving on to Middlesbrough on loan and bringing Ortega because he had a hell of a game. So I'm feeling pretty good today, even though I really don't care too much about the Carabao Cup anymore. That's not a priority any longer for Man City and myself. So
Let me tell you how much I didn't care about the Carabao Cup. I didn't even know y'all played. I didn't know we were. I didn't know Arsenal were playing in the Carabao Cup until yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got an extra match before the. I know we played Wolves in the Premier League on the weekend. I'm like, I guess I was like, do we have another Europa League match or something? No, it's the Carabao Cup. Which we lost, which is what
Yeah,
happened.
it was a bad day for London clubs.
Yeah,
Tottenham lost too.
damn. I didn't even check the scores of
Yeah,
the other game. I just finished watching it about a half hour
Tottenham
ago.
lost 2-0, and I think Arsenal lost 1-0 maybe.
yeah, you know, it's
But yeah, like I watched the match. I was excited to watch some of the youngsters play and get some needed time. Really happy with what Hall did. 18-year-old kid. He played a couple matches for us last year. He's part of the U21 side. If that man had, well, I'm using the term man very loosely here. If that boy had any type of like high level experience, he'd have had 2 goals today because he made 2 brilliant moves as a left wing back inside the box to essentially beat the defense, and he put both of them right into Ortega. But I mean, Ortega made the stop, so that's on him. Pulisic, though, boy, if you don't get your sorry ass in gear, I swear to God, I'm gonna pack your shit for you. There was a beautiful cross by Loftus Cheek, literally skimming right across the front, maybe 10 to 12 yards, right in front of the goalie, not touched, and he biffed it, and it rolled very slowly right to Ortega. Should have been the first goal of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Would have completely changed the dynamic. Um, and he just, bleh. I got no more patience for him. I really don't. It's they the pundits were saying that, well, he's not getting regular time. It's hard to get the consistency, and the whole time I'm thinking, you don't get that luxury at big clubs. when you're at a big club, you have to seize what opportunities you get. The
Yep.
only way you become a regular is if you seize the few opportunities that you get. And when you're not seizing them, you're not going to play. So, to all the US fans that, are going to complain and oh, Pulisic needs out of there. Yeah, get him the fuck out of there because I'm tired of it. Send his ass to Liverpool. Like,
You know,
speaking of which, y'all about to have a new ownership group.
yeah.
I seen it. I seen it. They finna get ready to sell the team. Like, I'm like,
Timing was
man.
really interesting on that.
I was like, man, is it that
Convenient.
bad? Is it that bad there? What are we doing? Are we losing enough games to get that notice of selling a team? Like what is really going on, man?
Well, I think it's that thing. They paid 300 million for the team, right? And so they've injected and done all these things, and it's worth roughly 3 to 4 billion now. Um, but they didn't like this when the Super League didn't become a thing. I think FGS, the Fenway Global Sports, whatever the hell they're called, I
Mm-hmm.
think they lost a lot of interest as far as like revenue, and they're seeing the effects of what poor decisions they've made in the summer and winter windows repeatedly over the last few years. And now they're crumbling and they're not built for a rebuild. They're not built for the future. If you look at their future is Harvey Elliott, who is already on the senior team. You look at the good teams, the Arsenals, the Uniteds, the Cities, the Chelseas, like they have youthful academies with lots of names that are ready to step in and take the reins. Liverpool doesn't have that. So I think this is one of those things that they're like, shit, we better sell this at an all-time high before it starts going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't the players they bought were not necessarily bad players, but they never really um addressed areas that we've talked about many times on the show. They purchased guys in the hopes of winning the Champions League and the Premier League in the past couple of years. So it was a kind of a win now move with all the guys that they bought because the players that they picked up were good players, but they focused on two areas of the team: they forward and defense, and they left the midfield completely untouched. And to your point about youth academies, you don't really see a lot of Liverpool academy players dotted around other leagues. You don't see other clubs picking up their youth talent on
Mm-hmm.
loan or buying their young kids. You see that with Chelsea all the time. You see it with City, United, and even Arsenal have done good business in the academy area. But you don't really hear that too much about Liverpool. And with American ownership, that was a big thing for them was the Super League and trying to kind of create a American sports model in European soccer. And if that's not going to happen, they might not be all that interested in staying in. And when you're going to make a gigantic profit like they're about to make if they sell the club, they're going to walk away with a cool couple $1 billion and invest that someplace else and continue making big money.
And I also look at, even look at sporting point of view, they've probably gone with this ownership group and this model, they've probably gotten as much as they can out of it. And the reality is, this is like the best era of Liverpool football in the Premier League era. This is the best era they've ever had. And you got one league title out of it.
And the Champions League.
They got a Champions League out of it. But they are unfortunately, and this is not even a shot, this is just Man City's era.
Mm-hmm.
And I think their ownership is like, with the way we want to spend money and run the club, we will never overtake Man City doing it this way. Just won't. So it'll be interesting to see. I think, like Joe said, I think there will be interested buyers. They will come up with a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come out with a bunch of money when this is all said and done. Like 3 to 4 billion is not out of the question. It's not out of the question. So they turned over a nice profit. So before we get to the Champions League, we always talk about soccer Twitter, football Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I want everyone to mark their calendars for the end of February. Whatever happens, and we do not talk about the Europa League much on this channel for good reasons. However, Barcelona and Man United in the Europa League playoff, not the Europa League semi, not the Europa League final, the playoff. Whoever gets
Playoff.
Whoever gets eliminated, I don't even care who gets eliminated. That is going to be one of the all-time great days in the history of soccer Twitter. That's going to be one of the great days.
Mm-hmm.
Have they released the dates for that one yet? I know they set out the
Yeah,
ones.
it's right around my birthday.
February 16th, just found it.
Yeah.
And then the return leg is February 23rd.
Trav, I'm gonna put Trav is still new. So Trav, let me put this to you in context.
Talk to me.
Think of Alabama playing USC in like the Holiday Bowl.
Okay. Alabama, which is, we know who Alabama is, but they have lost a couple of games, but they still somewhat of a big time team. USC is somewhat of like the West Coast version of Alabama during its heyday, big time team. But I get it.
They play it in the Holiday Bowl, which is usually like the day before Christmas or something like that.
Right. It's a bowl that we're not interested
like the 23rd.
in. It's not a bowl that we're interested in, but it's with the names that's in it, you may want to tune in and see what's up.
Yes.
Got
this is I can't wait.
And this is Barcelona and whom again?
Manchester United.
Manchester United. Okay.
This will be, and I feel very comfortable saying this, the highest watch Europa League playoff game or legs ever. And that record will always hold. Because this is not something you see. You don't see teams of this stature in a playoff just to get to the knockouts.
Just to get into the knockout round.
Right. This is not even the knockout round. This is to get into
it.
This is the play-in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is the play-in game.
This is
the March Madness play-in game.
Yes, this is the game on Tuesday night at 5:00 when you're still in traffic trying to get home from work.
Field is 68. This stadium is 64. This is what 16 versus 16.
Yeah.
I can already see the cutaway shots of a 37-year-old washed up Ronaldo on the bench, sad in the Europa League playoff. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be outstanding.
Against his former big rival.
Oh, against his former big rival.
He was with Real Madrid for a long time, and him and Messi battling when Messi was at Barca. So there's so many layers to it. So many layers to it. It's going to be very fun. So in Europa League, you got a very large clash between two historic clubs. And then when you shift over to the Champions League, got
Yeah.
two very, very, very interesting draws in the round of 16. Feels like a final because last year it was a final between Liverpool and Real Madrid getting drawn together.
And then the year before that,
yep,
was it 2 years ago?
2 years before that.
2 years before that, during the COVID hit season, PSG Bayern was the final.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach, Joe, let's kind of start there. Now we'll talk about you all's individual draws, but
No, we don't need to talk about that.
we have about it, Zach.
Well, we talking about it.
We're gonna talk about it, but as a neutral, I'm a little sad it's this early in the tournament. But for PSG, you got to.
This
and
is
we know
par for the course for them at this point because they always draw a big name in the round of 16. It seems like.
I honestly, like when I saw that they drew Bayern, like I felt bad for him. Like for the first time in my life, I felt bad for PSG because this is a serial thing. Like every single year they get drawn against some sort of damn juggernaut.
Yeah.
In the round of 16, which just it should not be happening. Like I get it, these matchups happen. But damn, like this is 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really feel bad for them this year because they had no business not winning their group. Did they win their group?
They did not.
They did not.
So win your group and you avoid the big boys, generally speaking.
Wouldn't that belong to Club Brugge? Wasn't Club Brugge in there?
It was either Bruges or it was Benfica. Wasn't it? I think Benfica
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been Benfica.
It was on goals, on away goals.
That's right, because they scored six. They scored six on the last match day to go up by away goal or goal differential or something like that.
It was away goals scored. Well, they scored
which
more
is
away
like
goals. The sixth tiebreaker.
The sixth tiebreaker. Like,
yo,
because people just as a slight tangent, people like to complain about Man City getting easy draws all the time, but we're consistently winning our group every year. So the likelihood of getting an easier draw is higher.
Agreed. But I'd like to see it get at least one goddamn challenge. Like anybody. Like I swear, like you're playing the William and Mary freshman soccer team.
They're like, playing a team that feeds them players at some point. Man City ends up with RB Leipzig players, like at some point, or they load them back. So I hear you, Joe. I hear you win a group, chances are you get the easier draw. But even if, because I look at the teams that didn't win groups, would it have been so wrong for Man City to get AC Milan? That wouldn't have been so wrong. That wouldn't have been all right.
Yep.
It'd been all right.
Although AC Milan, boy Olivier Giroud,
my guy Olivier,
gonna send them Spurs boys back to London. Real sad.
Yeah, I think getting into the other draw, I think AC Milan does beat the Spurs. I think Chelsea gets past Dortmund. I think no German club outside of Bayern Munich has shown to be trustworthy in this competition. And I think Chelsea, despite going through this transition with Potter Ball, Zach, you could talk about it more. I think they still just have enough guys that just have been there that they get past Dortmund. Dortmund is like the cute girl. Oh, she's cute. But you're not. You don't really like her like that. You know,
bruh. I don't even know how to respond to that. Yeah, so we got to get healthy. If we don't get healthy, it's going to be a long year for the Chelsea Football Club. Like we I commented in the group because Rio Ferdinand was all over saying that he wasn't impressed with the Arsenal win against Chelsea. I don't like it. Like I don't use injuries as an excuse. Like that's when you have a team of the calibers of Cities, Chelsea's, Arsenal's, like United's, your backups are top tier players at other clubs.
Yeah.
And that's so like you should win the games you're supposed to even with your backups. Now I'm not that's not me saying that was a game we were supposed to win or should have won, but I'm not going to sit here and say that injuries are the reason that we lost or the that it somehow taints the victory
Right.
by Arsenal. I will say, I mean, that's Joe and I were talking about this. That's 5 starters. 5 out of our 11 starters, are injured and seriously injured. I think the least serious injury out of that is Kepa with his plantar fasciitis, which I heard that they're still worried that he might not make the World Cup now. It was I know a lot of people when he got injured were saying, "Oh, he was having a bad game, that's why they pulled him." Well, it turns out, the foot injury was very real. So, between Kepa's hurt, Angolos hurt forever and a day, Reece James again, Ben Chilwell again, Wesley Fofana, like
You can only lose so many. And you talk about that. We talk about your backups at elite at big clubs. You should be able to play them, but you can only lose so many starters. It's like there's only so many people you can lose before before you just can't overcome everything. Which is why Joe's club, City, the thing that City's done. There's always the criticism. Oh, City spends all this money. Erling Haaland is the first time City really went wild on one player. But what they do, though, here's what City does do. City has mastered the $30 to $40 million player. Jack Grealish was the other one. They went a little crazy.
Went a lot crazy.
We're going to let that one slide.
You start the humming noise. I'm like, there is somebody else. They like, wow. So, but what City does most of the time is we'll buy 2 fullbacks for 30. We'll buy 3 midfielders, 30, 30, and 30. So that somebody has a drop in form or is hurt, there's basically his equal is the next person.
Or the drop off is minimal.
The drop off.
And that's the thing that allows you to win title after title. That's what allows you to compete for Champions League titles. And the key will always be health. Like you can be as depthful as you want, but if your starters are not healthy, I don't care how good your backups are, you're going to drop points. It's just it's a fact. And bad things are going to happen because those backups are not getting the same minutes. They're not getting the same reps that the starters are. And so, and that's where Chelsea's at right now. And they're in a bad spot because they have a new manager. They have 5 major injuries and they're trying to find their way, and it's funny because Pep today, actually said that if Chelsea is willing to take any unsolicited advice from me, it's to give Potter time because if you give him time, he's going to be fantastic. But, and that's Chelsea's got to get over that cancel culture of where, a little bit of dip in form and they're like, see ya.
Yeah.
Like, they got to stop that, and that's what I was hoping that Bully Clear Lake was going to do. The Tuchel thing, like, I get, why they did it. Um, and I will be okay with it if they don't continue to make that same move. Fool me once, shame on me, like, but that time will tell for that.
So let's go and pick these ties. So Joe, I'm gonna start with you. Leipzig City. I don't need to really ask you that one, right?
Or we will win that one more than likely comfortably.
Okay, so now we got Club Brugge versus Benfica.
You don't think old Nkuku and Timo are gonna put up a fight?
Timo is on Leipzig.
Yes, he is.
And Christopher Nkuku is
He might not be there for
Bundesliga's
this tie.
top goal scorer.
He might not be there for this tie.
Where's he gonna go?
He might be signing up for Chelsea in the winter transfer window.
I think honestly, I think the deal will get done in the winter, but he won't move until the summer because then he's not eligible to play for Chelsea in the Champions League because you can't.
Correct.
And or it'll be a sign and loan back kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think City's gonna win that. I just want to be funny.
Of course.
And Joe, who you got? Brugge, Benfica, Joe.
I want to keep the Cinderella story of Club Brugge going, but I think Benfica is going to prove too much for them. Bruges started off really nice at the beginning, and I think 3 or 4 wins, but then the last couple match days, it kind of shifted back to the norm with them. So I think Benfica is going to take care of that one in a closer tie than it would have originally thought. And if you look at these without any background info, Benfica is a name everybody knows. People don't know about Club Brugge. So I think Benfica wins, but I think it'll be 2 close matches.
Trav, get ready to come off mute because we're going to get to you here shortly. AC Milan, Spurs. I think AC Milan, I think AC Milan is going to win because I just think Tottenham just plays Tottenham has become Atletico Madrid of England.
Ooh, damn!
You just play this, and when Conte,
there's fighting words.
When Conte was managing Chelsea, Chelsea did not play that ugly at all. I don't know what they're playing at right now. And it is not even the Arsenal thing talking. Spurs are a god-awful watch. An awful watch right now.
They're not fun to watch. It's ugly, ugly football. And it's hopefully Harry Kane rescues us is the way they play right now.
Basically. So yeah, maybe AC Milan. I just think the style points.
Is Son going to be back in time for this?
Son is going to he's going to the World Cup now.
He's going, but I don't know if he's going to actually play.
Oh, he's going to play.
They're going
to play.
They're going to put him in a mask and shoot him with all the good.
that man's going to play.
Spurs is going to Spurs, I think. So I'm with you with AC Milan.
Frankfurt.
Olivier Giroud will win that.
My man, Olivier, man. Frankfurt versus Napoli. I like Napoli before Liverpool beat them. Napoli was basically the hottest team in Europe for about 2 months. They play. They are the opposite of Spurs. They play really entertaining football.
They might still be the hottest team in Europe, even with that loss.
Yeah, they
free-flowing scoring. I think they're the highest scoring team in the group stage. So I don't think Frankfurt's going to be able to slow them down with that.
Dortmund, Chelsea, I already said, despite the issues, I think Chelsea gets through.
I agree on that.
I'm doing it. It's not even on no jinx thing. I really think Chelsea gets through.
I don't think they do. I really don't.
Dortmund?
I genuinely don't. I don't think they do. If I'm being as objective as possible, like we're hoping that Reece James is back. Ben Chilwell looks like he's done for a long while. Fofana will probably be back, but will he be match fit? Um, we, I don't even know if N'Golo Kante exists anymore. I haven't seen him in months. I don't know. I don't unless the players that are going to the World Cup that are healthy are on super great form. Um, I got Dortmund in two legs.
All right. Milan, Porto.
Inter and Porto. That's right. Inter and Porto.
Can they both lose?
I will be strongly pulling for Inter for the sheer fact that I can't stand fucking Porto. They drive me absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
And I
Porto.
refuse to root for them. So I will be pulling for Inter.
All
I
right.
can't do it.
Not a big occasion. PSG Bayern. Okay. This is one where this is the heart versus the mind. And I'm not a PSG fan, but I would really like to see. I would like to see PSG with Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, all the drama, all the extras, Hollywood. I would like to see them get past Bayern, but I kind of feel like it's not going to happen.
It's not.
So I am going to pick PSG as a fan, but I really don't think they're going to beat Bayern.
Here's what's going to happen is all three of that front line are going to have disappointing World Cups and they're going to crumble. And PSG is going to get obliterated by Bayern, a la FC Barcelona 8-2. Cue the gif of those dudes dancing with a coffin because PSG is about to get run through the mill.
I got a question about PSG. How such a star-studded type of organization they are?
Good question.
How are they like this? Is it that they haven't? Is it the culture? Is it that they haven't just been together like that, or what?
You ready for this? I got the best analogy for you.
What's that?
They are the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
They have routinely one of the best paper rosters every single year, and they just can't put it together. They can't put it together.
So is that? I mean, is that a culture? Is that that sound like a? That sounds
It's
culture.
if by culture you mean a Kylian Mbappe issue, yes.
I think it's that. I think it's also a product of the fact that, like, in a different format to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich has kind of all been there. Is a really great team. PSG, because they play in France, their season is basically the Champions League is basically the season because they're gonna win the league. Like there's nobody in the French league that's going to do anything with them. And I think Zach's point about Kylian Mbappe, it's a lot of ego. It's a lot of guys with a lot of money. And, chemistry and that matters, which is why, unfortunately, I think what Zach, I'm more prone to believe what Zach says. And I think Bayern cleans them out pretty good. Even with having arguably the most talented, not even arguably, probably had the most talented front three in the world. But I just don't know if they're going to be together. I really don't.
Yeah, and I think Zach hit it with the culture, and Trav, you said first the word was culture. I think that's a big one. And we said ego was a word Ronnie said with Mbappe. He ain't the only one with a massive ego on that roster either. His running mates up there also have gigantic egos, and they all want the starlight, they want the limelight, they want to be the guy. And when you hand Mbappe as much money and power as they did when they re-signed him, that's going to be an issue in the locker room. And those three aren't the only ones that have big egos. The rest of those dudes, they still have massive personalities on that roster.
Oh yeah,
Donnarumma, Ramos, Verratti.
Ramos is the answer there, Mr. Red Card himself.
So it's certainly a culture thing that they have not created a winning culture in Europe. And I think Ronnie touched on it too. They don't see competition on a regular basis. So when you run into a match like this against Bayern, when you've been playing the likes of the French league predominantly the whole season, you ain't ready for the amount of pressure and the quality that the other team possesses to be somewhat equal to what they have. So they're just not used to playing the same level of competition on a regular basis in their league. Because when you say what you want about the Premier League being best or most competitive or whatever, the teams that come from England are regularly playing against each other. And you can see that with 4 of the quarterfinals or the round of 16 spots being taken by English clubs. They play each other regularly. So they are accustomed to playing against other high quality players that are world class, going to World Cups and playing on big stages all the time.
It's a fucking war of attrition, man.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's the thing that I will routinely say with the Premier League is that it's a war of attrition. Like if you can survive and be healthy and grind out those ugly wins or ugly ties, like you will be competitive and you will be competitive in every single competition you're in. And PSG are in the situation where they have every once in every 7 years, you'll see Lille come out of nowhere or Nice come out of nowhere and have Monaco have a great year, and PSG will not win the league, and then it's rinse cycle repeat back to regularly scheduled programming. PSG wins comfortably by January. They got 15 matches to go, and then they're up 30 points.
And Bayern has a similar situation where they generally run through their league as well. They have a little bit more competition, but generally they're sitting pretty comfortable in first place in theirs. But Bayern has a history and a culture of winning in Europe that they can rely on, and they don't really have a ego issue to the level of PSG.
Bayern, and that's the difference.
Bayern, if Trav were to pick up a second team, Bayern is very much the Spurs.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
They're the Spurs.
Not the Spurs now, where they got players like whipping their junk out, like early pop.
The good days. The good days. They are.
This man got to say. This man got to talk about Primo. He's not there no more. He's not there no more.
So, Trav, we're gonna lead you right here to. Liverpool, Madrid has given us, and Madrid has had not given it. Let me say that back. Madrid has had Liverpool's number for the last 5 years. 2018 final. 2021, both legs. Madrid. Last year in the final.
I was just about to say.
Madrid again. And I'm not saying this. I think the difference in this is for Liverpool is going to be what January to me will determine if Liverpool can win this. And Zach and Joe talked about the issues they have in midfield, which they've had for a while. And Liverpool needs in January, they gotta find a midfielder. They gotta find somebody.
They can't just find any midfielder though. Like they have to find the right ones, and that's also been their issue.
they've got to find the right one, because if they don't, Camavinga, who's my other? Chouameni, Vasquez,
Valverde,
Verde,
Modric,
Vinicius,
and then they've got the ultimate Tony Cruz, and then they've got the best player in the world. And the best player in the world is up top. And that's Mercedes-Benz. The 300E class up front, Kareem. The best player in the world. I have Madrid winning this tie because I just don't think without that right midfielder that Zach talked about, I just don't see how they get past an intact Madrid team. And we talked about, and Joe and Zach jump in, we talked about culture, talk about guys who have won hundreds of big matches over the last 5 years. No one's done it better than Madrid the last 5 to 7 years on big stages. Nobody's been better than that in these affairs. So
yeah, it's one of those things that, like, so I look at this matchup and I'm gonna, like, it's not gonna sound this way, but I'm honestly being as objective as possible. I don't see how Liverpool has a shot in this. And if we go back to the very first episode that we had of this season, when we talked about our favorite signings of the windows, I told you that the best signing in this window was Sadio Mane to Bayern. And not only was it the best signing for Bayern, it was the crippling effect it has on Liverpool. And it just goes to show you that it's not Salah that is changing those games. It was Mane. And and this is, I'm giving all credit where it's due. Luis Diaz is really good. He's fantastic. Nunez, he's a good player. He's coming into his own. I mean, he started slow. He's adjusting, but he's still a good player. The debate is not a debate that should have ever happened, but like Liverpool, I want I want this to be a good tie. Like, I really like, these are two powerhouse teams of all time. Like, and I want it to be a damn slobber knocker, where it's 90 plus minutes of just pure intensity and fight. And I just, Naby Keita is not going to give you that. Like, Harvey Elliott, I rate him very highly. I talk about him all the time.
But this is too much for him.
It's too much. It's too much. We named off 5 or 6 players who all rotate in that midfield or up top on the wings of Madrid. And every single one of them, even Tchouaméni at his very young age, even Camavinga at his very young age, are better than any midfielder, maybe vice Thiago.
Yeah.
That Liverpool have.
They have it, and Joe can speak to this, and this is not even a troll moment. You watched Madrid against, like, City last year. You watched them against Chelsea last year. They can just pull stuff out of their hat at any time.
Mm-hmm.
City had them on the ropes in that tie last year. But that big game experience, players that have been there, mixed in with Zach's talking about with these younger guys, the Vasquez, Tchouaméni, Camavinga. As big a tie as this is, I would say Liverpool in its current state, beating Madrid would be a huge upset.
It would be a hell of an upset.
The one thing that I will give Liverpool is because they are probably not going to be competing for a title in England. They'll be hoping for a top 4 position.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 ties are going to be their everything. This is going to be their Super Bowl.
It's the Chelsea effect.
So,
Chelsea were going into when we won it 2 years ago, like we had no shot at the title. This was all we had there, and for once Liverpool is playing a role of an underdog. They're going into this David and Goliath type of matchup,
Which they're
and
pretty good at, by the choice.
Yeah,
they're actually
and the one thing I will give Liverpool credit and I will give Klopp credit for is, to quote Zach Wilson, they got that dog in them, and they will fight and grind it out. As much shit as I give Trent for being a winger who plays right back, like he has the capability of taking over games. The thing about this matchup for me though is Liverpool.
Zach getting stuck on us. He getting stuck on us.
he did.
Question.
Yes.
So Sala, is this the last time they played Real Madrid? This is the team that he called out, right? That he said that this is the one they wanted and they end up losing.
Yeah, he did it again too, didn't he?
I hope he didn't.
Yeah, 2018, he got hurt in the final.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about this the last time I heard
and
it was lately.
It was
and they lost.
Last year in the final, well, this past 2022 final, this is the revenge game.
Right.
And
I don't oh man, we just ain't got it in so many levels, man. Real Madrid should win, but it'll be nice if they prove me wrong. This is the time.
May 3rd. I want to play Madrid. They beat us in a final already, so let's play them again.
There it is.
You get them again.
Well, this is the 5th time. If you count this will be the 4th time in 5 years that they have faced each other.
Mm-hmm.
One more, the 4th time, 4th and 5. So before we wrap up, we'll kind of just do a little quick preview. Next week, the big World Cup preview show starring us and starring you. We want to get fans, guests to preview the World Cup. So we're not going to give away the show, but my initial simply is going to be who's healthy.
That's a big part of it.
There's a starting 11 already of
her
world-class stars that are not going to this World Cup.
Due to injury, not because their club didn't make it, but because they are not healthy enough to go because they picked up a knock recently.
I'm not gonna give it away because I'm gonna save my final prediction for next week. But based on injuries, this is for me. This sets up for one of our all-time greats. This is the setup for this to be his tournament.
If and I already know who you're gonna say. If he doesn't do it now, obviously he
can't.
He's at that age where it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about it next week that he is. But this is it.
The stars have aligned for him.
Yep. Joe, any preview World Cup thoughts you want to give? Don't give it all away.
I'm just anxiously awaiting Black Friday and the USA versus England game. I can't wait. That's the biggest thing I got right now. Is just I'm so excited to sit down and watch that game, win or lose for the US. I don't really care at this point. I mean, obviously I care. I want them to win, but it's just going to be so much fun. The lead up to it, the shit talking that's going to go back and forth. It's gonna be great, and I can't wait to sit down on the couch midday and snacks
Leftovers,
and people over at the house
turkey, leftover turkey from the night from the day
yes.
before.
And just I think we're gonna have a little watch party at our house for that one for people to come over and probably 98% of the people that might come are not soccer people in my family. I'll get to really
This is an
go the
event.
roots for that. So and try to get them over into the soccer world more. So
USA versus England. Again, we don't want to give away too much. I don't know what the ratings record is for US men's soccer.
That'll be it.
They're going to obliterate whatever that is.
Yep.
Whatever it is, it's going to get obliterated. Zach, anything you want to tease for next week?
I would really, I don't know what time we're gonna do this show, but if we can get as much participation as I would like, I would expect a rather extensive show. Just because there's so much to talk about and preview. The one thing I will say, and I haven't had a chance to really run this by the guys yet, but with us moving over to this new YouTube channel, the one thing I really want to take advantage of is the YouTube Shorts. So I'm look for, at least from me, and I'm sure Joe and Ronnie might jump in as well, doing quick previews of each team. I think that's going to be, kind of talking about where their strengths and weaknesses are, injuries and things like that. And that I would love to get some of those up and get some more content for you guys. So for me, that's the big thing. I have a very clear cut favorite in my mind, and I will share that with you all next week. Spoiler alert, it's not the United States.
my teaser is that I have a Latin American country probably winning it.
That's fair.
I've changed mine. Mine has changed. It's changed.
That week is awful for me because I am literally working 84 hours that week. I have one day off, the day before Thanksgiving. So I'm going to be exhausted, but I'm going to be so goddamn obnoxious on Black Friday. You better hope. Oh, Lord Jesus, you better hope.
We talked about whatever happens, Barcelona, Man U being a tremendous day in soccer Twitter. The best thing that could happen, I ain't gonna say the best thing, USA England is going to be a great day for soccer Twitter. It's going to be an unbelievable day. Every meme, GIF, clip you can think of will be applied to that game. All of them.
I can see it.
I'm gonna buy all the Earl Grey English tea I can find and throw that shit in the water just because.
I can't wait. Next week, the World Cup preview show is going to be a blast. So we're going to put that out there in the group because I want to get some participation and some guests. But it's going to be a great time. I can't wait. I'm excited with this new YouTube channel. Some cool stuff coming along for the channel. Joe, Zach, Trav, this is Stoppage Time FC. We'll see you next week. World Cup preview.